Hey guys, how you doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. So this is a new segment that we're going to start doing daily on gold and silver miners. Straight over to the charts. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with basically the ETFs. So we'll start first with the GDX. So this is obviously the major gold miners, not so much the juniors, although the GDXJ. A lot of the companies aren't actually juniors, and there are other ETFs that can get you better exposure to juniors. But anyway, so over the GDX, you can see that we had a nice 9 top here on the 4 hour. You guys will know the 4 hour is my favorite one to trade. And then we had a 9 buy here, and we already started to move up on the 9. But yeah, we can pretty much, well, we've already activated this buy trade in a sense. So we'll probably we won't draw this on at the moment. Obviously, if we'd done this a couple of days ago, we would have had this buy trade. We had the 9, would have basically said when we break above, there's a buy. So yeah, technically we haven't closed the daily above it yet, so actually we're still not in a trade. So we will actually put this on for the time being because this candle hasn't closed, and it hasn't closed above the close of this 9 candle. So we're not currently in a buy trade yet, but we can be, obviously, if we break that, and I guess our target just would just be new highs. So we will put a price move up here of what we're kind of looking at in the GDX. But yeah, I would be a bit conscious of the fact we may start to print out some sort of inverted head and it's not an inverted head and shoulders. It's just a regular head and shoulders, isn't it? So yeah, we could basically trade above here, then come back down again. So I would maybe be looking at a level under here in the GDX. We'll draw it under this level here, so a sort of horizontal that we've got going on here. If we do break this horizontal, I will potentially be looking for some downside, but this is an uptrend anyway in this market as a whole. So I wouldn't be looking for this necessarily to play out or to play out a big move, but we will target the 200 period on the 4 hour. So let's see how this lines up on the daily. I don't think there's much significant wise on the daily. But yeah, GDX is an interesting one. We obviously had this massive move down here in March where we actually traded under NAV. So yeah, under net asset value, basically, of the actual underlying companies, 20% under, and this arbitrage opportunity was there for hours, for a long time. So it just showed the markets were a bit broken at that point in time. Otherwise that equilibrium would have been established again. So this was a great buying opportunity, and I bought gold stocks down here. But yeah, it was just insane. What happened? Obviously, it was a liquidation. Everything, gold and silver were getting hit. But yeah, the GDX for some reason was getting hit more than normal. I guess because it's an equity. People were taking off equity exposure. But yeah, look, if we look on the 4 hour here, 9 here, which was a nice sell once we broke under, a 9 buy, which was a nice buy once we broke above, and then we nearly got the 9 there for the sell, and then we basically got the 9 candle down here. I mean, this is pretty aggressive, but yeah, I mean, you wouldn't really necessarily buy getting above that when you've got such a volatile move. Yeah, so some good moves here in the GDX. So it's definitely one we'll keep on our radar. So now the juniors in inverted commas, because obviously a lot of these companies, I mean, it's going to pretty much follow a similar pattern here. Although yeah, we've got the 9 byte here. I mean, I don't want to just basically draw the same patterns on, but we have to. I mean, what else can we really do, really, if we're going to draw some trades on? So yeah, I guess we're just going to put that across there. It's the same trade. I won't do the downside trade. I'll just leave this one on. Sorry, let's get back to that. And then, yeah, I mean, just more upside, basically, if we break above that. I mean, I probably should draw the downside on. Oh, I should do, shouldn't I? I know that it's basically the same, but we've got it on both now, so we can see it. We've got it on the GDX and the GDXJ. Obviously, you guys understand they're pretty correlated. Obviously, in price move. In relative terms, may not be as so. I mean, yeah, I guess you'll target the 200 on the 4 hour. Yeah, we'll just put that on. We'll leave it here because I think there may be something better on the daily to target No, there isn't really. The daily is around there, so yeah, maybe that would be a logical zone. Not really. So there's not really much edge in that trade. So yeah, so now this is the Sprott ETF. So I think this is a better ETF. On the daily, we've not really got much going on there. You can yeah, daily not much going on there, and then the 4 hour. 4 hours it's very similar again. It's hard for me to really say what to do here. But obviously, would have got a great sell trade. Very nice sell trade, and then yeah, we're working on basically the 9, which will come in probably Monday now because we're on the 8 candle today. So we'll have to see where we close there and whether we start to move up. So this is the spot. This is the better one for junior gold miners if you want exposure to juniors. So yeah, this is the Sprott Junior Gold Miners ETF. Yeah, so nothing really there on the 4 hour. It trades a bit more sporadic. I mean, as you can see, the chart doesn't look as good. Go AU is another good one, another better EDF than the GDX to buy. So yeah, it's just going to be a similar trade, a similar pattern. Obviously over time, juniors may outperform the majors, or a different ETF may outperform another ETF. But obviously we just have to. It's hard for me to chart that on a daily basis. Anyway, and we have got here a silver ETF. So again, it's a very similar chart pattern. Very bullish trend. Nothing we can put on TD wise on the 4 hour. Obviously we had a great 4 hour 9. Yeah, so there was some great 4 hour trades on here anyway. So right, so now that we won't go through all of those every day. Obviously this is my first one. I'll go through our whole list. So now we're going to move on to the royalty and streaming companies. Now I believe these are the best ways. It's not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I believe these are the better ways to invest in precious metals, unless you're just going to buy the actual physical asset. There's a lot of problems obviously with any individual miners or even large miners that they're just exposed to certain countries and risk, and just the royalty and streaming companies, they just have a better business model and they're less exposed to any one particular mine, and then also they're less exposed to the actual gold price as well. So actually if gold prices or silver prices go down, the royalty and streaming companies, they can just get better deals basically for streams, for income streams and royalties. So yeah, so I think they're a better way to invest, but that is obviously why they trade so bullishly. I mean, if we look back, I mean, this is a great looking chart, but yeah, they got hit down here but bought up literally instantly. But yeah, so if you want it, yeah, great, it's great buy 9 there as well. But yes, this is the daily. So these are this is obviously the biggest royalty and streaming company. And we're going to see anything on the 4 hour. I'm guessing this was a 9. So yeah, it's the 9 thing we've seen in a lot of markets. Then we nearly got to the 8, but we obviously started to bounce up. But you can see we were riding the 21 on the 4 hour. We lost it, so we basically got caught by the 50, which is pretty obviously in an upwards trend. That's a pretty normal thing to happen, although we hadn't broken the 21 at all. But yes, we've been caught by the 50. I mean, this is an initial sign, show of weakness that we came down to here. So until we obviously reclaim this level here, I mean, we could end up with a tightening formation and then a potential move down. You don't know, down or up. It could go either way. But obviously the trend is your friend. But it's not looking like how we've looked over here. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. And obviously these moving averages are flattening out and potentially the 21 is gonna cross the 50. So maybe we are gonna look for some sort of a move back in the gold, basically in gold, and then obviously these gold mining companies. Franco-Nevada, another big one. Yeah, we've got a nice buy 9 here, traded above it. We're basically at the same level now anyway, so you can practically enter. I mean, actually, this is this 4 hour candle, so there is another 2 hours of this to end, and we're not currently above the buy level, so we can actually put this buy trade in because it isn't currently activated. The 4 hour candle hasn't closed and we're not in the trade. So we'll put that on, and then yeah, I mean, this is a very tight formation, so if we do get a move, I mean, I've maybe expected to find its way up quite high quite quickly, seeing if we consolidated quite a bit here. Yeah, I mean, full consensus here on the daily with moving averages 250, 21, Sort of playing with the 21 a bit, dipped underneath it, but we haven't regained it. We tried to regain it and we haven't. So again, as I'm saying, there are initial indications that we may get some sort of a pullback in some of these companies. In the gold price itself, because they're obviously very correlated. But we'll have to see how it plays out. So Royal Gold on the daily. Not so much going on there that we can look at, and then the 4 hour. 4 hour not too much either. Didn't quite get, so Royal Gold obviously looking stronger. We didn't get quite as much of a move down. We didn't get any basically candles that printed buy nines on the 4 hour. So yeah, I mean, we did still come down and touch the 50. The next one is Cisco Gold Royalties. I think this is potentially one of the best ones. The best royalty and streaming companies, just purely based on the countries that its mines are basically in. So it's basic. I mean, without going into too much detail, its mines are in 100% in countries that are gonna that don't really have political risks that some of these others have. So yeah, we have got a buy 9 here though, and potential buy trade. So yeah, like I've said, this is the best one of the royalty and stream. I mean, it's not a financial advice, but I think this is the better one, just purely due to the political risk its royalties and streams are exposed to. So yeah, we'll put this in here, and then obviously the buy trade up there. I mean, I'm fully aware I'm basically drawing the same thing on all the charts, but hey, we're just going through them all. We won't necessarily have to go through them all again. Sandstorm Gold is another good one. This is one of the smallest ones, so actually this one has the potential to be bought by one of the bigger ones. So watch that space. But yeah, Sandstorm Gold is a good one. So not really much I can draw on the 4 hour here. We had the sell trade. We've not really got the 9. Yeah, being held up by the moving averages. All looking really good there. You can see the interplay with the 200. We break through. We hugged it a bit and decided, yeah, we're off. Obviously, you guys know the 200 period moving average is important, and the 200 daily even more so. But that's not had much interplay with price at the moment. But again, great 9 there. That 9 really didn't amount to much. We didn't break the low below of it, so we didn't have a trade. So now I'm going to look at some actual miners as opposed to royalty and streamers. So I don't know why we're on a 2-day chart, but we had a really nice 2-day 9 there. Obviously, you can see where the sell was. Did we get one on the daily? We didn't get one on the daily, no, but we did get a 2-day 9, so I wouldn't have spotted that. But yeah, we would have basically sold the low of that candle. Did we get into the 5-day or weekly? 5-day weekly, no, nothing going on there. So let's look at the 4 hour for Newmont. Yeah, but you can see obviously these are coming down more than obviously our royalty and streamers did. So yeah, but we can activate. We'll activate the buy trade here. If we break basically. Oh, come on. Oh, it's there. So if we close the 4 hour candle over here, we'll be looking at entering the buy. You can see how this obviously has moved down more than the royalty and streaming companies do, because they obviously, these have a higher beta basically. Here we go. Yep, so that's what we're kind of looking at in Newmont. Barrick Gold's pretty similar. I'll draw the same thing on again. I'm conscious of the fact I'm just drawing literally the same thing in every chart. So it'd be like just pick which one you want to enter. They're all basically the same. Everyone's a winner. Well, we'll see. Right, so over to some Anglo Gold, so some more. Yeah, it's the same one. I'm not going to draw it in. It's the same chart, same 4 hour. I don't think there'll be anything on the daily again. Anything on the daily? Nothing on the daily, but we could, if we come a bit low, we could end up with a buy 9 on here on the daily, so that could be interesting. The next one, Goldfield. Look at that for a reaction off the 9. So you had basically the sold level would have been there, and now we've moved lower. First target the 21, maybe 50. But yeah, look at that for a move. Kinross, it's the same. Draw the line there. Buy if we break above. Agnico, it's exactly the same again on the 4 hour. Freeport looking a bit different. A very tightening up range here. Yep, tightening up range on the 4 hour. What's the daily telling us anything? This is a lot like the stock market on the daily, getting squashed between, well, we were getting squashed between the 200 on the daily and the 21. Obviously we broke out on the stock market, and maybe we're going to move back under, but hey, at the moment we're still above it on the stock market. But yeah, so this is basically getting squashed between the 200 and the 21. So you'd have to really wait for a breakout between one of those. So First Majestic Silver miners are obviously going to be performing better with this 25% drop in the gold silver ratio. So yeah, nothing to see trade wise here. Yeah, nothing to see TD trade wise on the daily. Do we have anything on the what was it called? The 4 hour, that's it. Not much on the 4 hour, but you can see we're coming up to this sort of important level here. The 21, the 50, and basically we've had the golden cross. The 50 is, I mean, this is literally today, isn't it? The golden cross in First Majestic, so this may entice a bit of buying in. The 50 crossing the 200. Often though, you will come in to test the cross. And obviously the 200 is still pointing down. I mean, this is on the 4 hour. But yeah, so yeah, potentially a bit of a move down and up. But yeah, I'll be looking at a break of this level. So we'll draw it from this whole. We'll draw it here to be sort of we're in basically well above it. So we've got blue skies. We don't need to add an alert to that. We do need to remove an arrow from that, and then sorry, just bear with me a second, guys. We need to remove the arrow from that, and then yeah, we'll just draw a line upwards. Basically, it's not quite simple. If we break this line, I would expect some acceleration to the upside. Pan American Silver doing very well. I mean, I think this is obviously performing stronger because this would be an equivalent level look. But here is basically the same trade that I'm sort of telling you in First Majestic. It's the same trade here, but you see the horizontal confluence here. Once we broke through it, we accelerated to the upside. So that's interesting to see. The fact that what I was trying to tell you would happen, I then went to the next chart and there it is. I mean, literally that is the move that I've just put in an arrow. So that's what we may be expecting in First Majestic, sorry. And then yeah, we had it in Pan American. We had the 9 there, the sell below the 9. We had a nice move down, not massive, but a nice move. And then we got back above the 9, and then that activates you go long again. So yeah, looking very good in Pan American. Like, it's a very good move. I love silver, I do, as an asset, but I buy a lot of actual physical silver. Endeavour Silver Cut, sort of looking like a bull flag here, an descending broadening wedge. I don't like to get into too much sort of chart pattern analysis, like especially not like only really triangles, but yeah, or channels. But yeah, this is a descending broadening wedge, so it's a potential bullish continuation pattern. But yeah, not played out yet. We'll get rid of the arrow. So again, this is similar to the trade in First Majestic when we break above. So if we break above this, expect a nice pop. Yep, so now we have Silvercrest Metals. Silvercrest Metals, again, look, you can see it's had its pop. A bit more of a this is the very nice like looking little channel here that you can be playing here. We'll draw a nice channel in Silvercrest. Let's get rid of the arrow. A nice little channel play. So whilst these markets are very correlated, we've got a few different kind of plays that we can look for in these. So that's good. That's good for our trading. It's good, it's interesting. We'll draw this other one on there, and yeah, very nice channel we're developing. So a good little trade plan based on that. You can see how it's working at the moment. But yeah, obviously you'll play this in conjunction with what is going on, what you expect in the actual silver price. Fortuna, very similar chart here. This looks like it's just basically broken above, sort of testing, and then I'd expect it to move on upwards. How many more have we got? I don't think we've got too many more. Yeah, I think this is it, isn't it? This is my whole list, yeah. Right, so America's Gold Silver Corporation. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously weaker. We need to try and get to this level and reclaim it. You can see that this horizontal level was important. We'll draw it on. There's no, I'm not going to put a trade on here at the moment. We're going to just see what happens generally with price action. But yeah, that's just an important level, basically. An important level we've got to watch. We tested it, came back. I mean, if we break above it, great, but I would expect then a test of it again and then a break above. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Like, we sort of came down, well, obviously the level didn't, well, did the level exist? Yeah, the level did kind of exist. It's always been a bit of a horizontal here for us. So yeah, we sort of played around the range. We tried to jump off it, we couldn't. We broke below, came and tested it again. So what I would expect is a move above it, retest, and then by the retest, basically, buy the retest once it starts to take off. So, I mean, we'll just leave that long-term trade on there. That's not straight, is it? Yeah, there we go. That'll do. Last one, Alexco. Pretty similar. We've got some nice highs in here. We can draw a nice little horizontal from here to here, getting these highs in pretty nicely. So again, it's just a case of we break above there, and then it's all systems go. Maybe by the retest, maybe we're going to come down a bit, form a sort of inverted head and shoulders. I mean, this sort of looked like it wanted to try and be a cup and handle, but couldn't make it. Capitulated. This could potentially be a cup and handle of sorts, or we could come down further to form a larger inverted head and shoulders. But it's an interesting pattern to look at. So I will do a video. I do a lot of research on basically the actual gold and silver sector and how they perform in various different like market cycles. It's interesting. This is why this was such a buy here, because obviously gold and silver prices were getting hammered, but also it was the same time everything was getting hammered. Equities were getting liquidated. Cash was king. People needed cash, and also oil was getting hammered. And what is an important thing about oil getting hammered is oil is basically the biggest input to a mine, basically a mining cost. So obviously lower oil prices. So when you end up with periods of deflation, you can actually end up with the gold price not really moving far, but because the input costs are lower, the gold miners do a lot better because their profitability goes up. And then also what you can have is, there is another point I want to make here about gold and silver miners. Yes, so when you end up in a bit of a downturn, especially a deflationary one, because of that you've got that other aspect I just spoke to, but a downturn generally, especially for silver, a lot of silver is produced as byproduct of like say of base metal mines, like say copper mines for example. So obviously as that copper is in less demand, those mines shut down, and that takes off a lot of silver supply that just gets dumped on the open market from basically copper miners that just aren't interested in silver. So if we have a prolonged economic downturn, and obviously there's less demand for base metals, there'll be less silver basically extra supply on the market. And then that's obviously good for the silver price. So that's maybe that was partly what was responsible for the gold silver ratio going a bit crazy, because there was just the demand for gold. Obviously you got to remember, gold is a currency, silver isn't. Silver is an industrial metal, and it isn't really primarily used as a precious metal, but it is becoming more popular as one. But obviously as gold keeps on moving up, silver is like sort of poor man's gold, so you can't buy gold, so you just buy a load of silver. Probably why I've got a load of silver and not loads of gold. But obviously it's a good play on what could potentially be going forward. So we could be looking for an explosion in gold and silver prices, and even if we don't, like I said, if we end up in a deflationary environment with gold and silver prices staying relatively static, then the gold and silver miners still could have a very nice pop, a very nice run just based on profitability. So anyway, that's the end of this video. This one's a bit longer than normal. Yes, to bear with me with that one. I'll do a video more or less chart analysis, but on just some fundamentals of gold and silver miners, and I'll put the link of that in the end of the video when I've done it, probably over the weekend. And then so when I do these daily gold and silver company updates and ATFs, then I will put the link in the end of that video, so you guys can just watch that, get my overview of what I think of these this sector. But anyway, right, so thanks for listening, guys. Remember, it's not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys soon.